Okay, now I need to see hands. How many people weren't present during the social studies lesson last period with Mr. Roth? Okay, for that reason, I'd like it if 2 or 3 people could volunteer and just summarize what the lesson was about. So Maylene, start us off.
Last period we was talking about how people get stereotypes and how gays and lesbians get stereotypes and how we feel about lesbian and gays and faggots. And
okay,
that's it.
Hold it there. The last word you used, right? Go ahead, say it again.
What? A faggot?
Right. When we talked about terminology, how is faggot used in the hallway? Is it a compliment?
No.
Kelly?
No, somebody would just be walking down the hall and then they'll just be like, faggot.
Right. Is it a compliment?
No, it's not a put down.
Well,
Put down.
I think the consensus is that usually, although some people may use it as a joke, it usually is used as a put down.
You walk out in the halls of the school, and the word of choice is faggot. And to me, there's, I react the same way when I hear a girl called a bitch. I think it shouldn't be tolerated in a school environment. But you can't just say stop. You have to educate about it, and if you don't educate about it, it won't stop.
Okay, I'm just going to say a few things about that we have to say before we start speaking. One of them is that we are not here to recruit you at all. I'm not here to try to get you to become gay or lesbian. We're just here to tell you about ourselves. So if you want to ask us any questions, that's why we're here. And so no question is a bad question.
We're both volunteers. We're not paid to do this. We come into classrooms and we speak to students like you. I've been to most high schools, junior highs here in the city. I was born in Puerto Rico. My dad's Mexican, so I'm half of each. My dad was a pastor in a Pentecostal church, so I grew up in the church, and very religious. And I came out when I was 17, and I'm now at State studying psychology.
I'm Donna, and I'm 24, and I grew up in Connecticut, actually. I'm an only child. I came out not until I was about 19 or 20. When I was your age, when I was in middle school and high school, I went out with boys, and I have some pictures I'll show you later of my prom date pictures. And it wasn't until I was in college that I started to realize that I was attracted to women. Now we're going to open it up, and you guys can ask us anything you want. Go.
Being gay, do one have to act like a woman, or how does that go? I mean, I heard that gay men keep the clean house and stuff like that.
How do you mostly find out that the other person is gay or a lesbian?
How does your parents feel about you being a lesbian?
Has anybody really when you told them you were gay, they just totally said, I don't want to be your friend anymore, and just left and never saw you again or something?
Is it true that a lot of gay men and lesbian women that sometimes they dress in tight leather and stuff so they booty to attract men and women?
Like when young ladies have short hair like this, they have to be a dyke or something. That's not really true though, right? Or do a lot of dykes do that?
I think it was you who said that when you were 12, you started to think about guys and everything like that. Did you feel confused or something, or if you felt if you had to kill yourself because you were like that, or something?
Is there a reason why you're gay? Was you raped was you a child, or go through something that came out you had to?
You do have kids. How old would you want them to be before you tell them?
If you had a choice to be start all over and be straight, would you rather be straight instead of being gay?
If your kids say that they want, when they grow up, they want to be gay like y'all, what would you say?
Do you guys get offended when people call you, when they call you names?
Yeah, especially if they mean it to be offensive. And sometimes I'll walk down the street and people drive by and yell dyke out the window or something, and that's really upsetting. I don't know those people. There's no need for them to do that to me.
And one thing, people don't get beat up because they're gay. They get beat up because they look gay.
How do you guys do it?
we are not allowed to talk about our personal sex lives by the Unified School District. We can't do that. And that's what we're here for anyway. I do want to say, though, that just like you might imagine, sex is not about a single act. There's a lot more involved to it. There's feelings. There's who the two people are, how they feel about each other. And there's two minds involved.
I think that there are people, teachers, who think that we're going to come in and, molest the kids or like tell them kind of really strange things about sex or something. And I've definitely come into a class with kids who obviously have pretty weird ideas and left, and we do evaluations at the end and have them just write really nice things like, today I thought that gay people were all evil, and I realize now that they're just like me.
So we want to thank you guys for having us. And did everyone see the pictures?
That's you? Yeah, it's me. I had long hair then. Look different. Yeah.
A lot of times when parents or administration say there's going to be gay people coming to our school, they make it sound like our school is gay-free, and here come these people from this tribe that we don't know, and they're going to come in here, and this is taboo. But obviously I was a child at one point, and obviously I was in school, and I didn't have those role models. And so when I think about it, I think, no, you're not bringing something that's strange into the school. You're bringing someone to be a role model for people there are gay students in this classroom.
To what extent have there been changes in what you think? And also, have any stereotypes been broken? Yeah.
And I was like, they're gay? I mean, they look straight, just like other people here. They look straight. I was like, well, I guess, you could never really tell until you meet them and, tell them about you. You can never really tell.
Another stereotype is, there's some guys that hang around with girls, they'll think he's gay, but, he's not.
I thought all gay people like white. I mean, I feel bad saying it, but then that's what I thought, because mostly gay people I see are white, Then
that's where I got it from, because mostly on talk shows, they mostly have white people on there that are gay. So that's what I actually thought. So then again, that kind of changed my little figure about it.
Not all gay people are looking for sexual experiences. Not all of them want to go hit on people, try to do all that stuff.
It should be mandatory, and I think that it's a healthy way of teaching students to respect each other, understand each other. Academics are definitely important, but we also want them to develop to reach an understanding that they can resolve crisis without becoming explosive. They need to understand it so they can move on to learning.
If the educational system doesn't deal with those issues early on, then there's bashing of gays in the streets.
William Kiley arrived in court still wearing a neck brace nearly 2 months after he was the victim of an alleged gay bashing. Central to proving the attack as a hate crime are the words Huff used. What was he calling you? Kiley was asked. He's calling me a faggot and a queer as he's pushing me on the shoulder. He's telling me, let's get it on.
In New York City, for example, such violence rose last year by 110%.
The numbers of gay men murdered are startling, but even more alarming. Most of those charged with the murders are teenagers.
They should have it in elementary school. They should have the beginning discussions much, much earlier.
Okay, let's look at this and see what we got. Where else do you think we need some more words or some more ideas? Oh,
and how did I figure out that you're gay? Yeah.
well, that's a very good question, and that actually goes into what we're going to do next. I'm going to talk about a couple of these people right now and show you some pictures and play some music. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Michelangelo. His picture's up here. And you probably know who he is because he's one of the most famous artists that ever lived in the world. And he made this sculpture, which is called David. This poster has been hanging in our hallway as you walk down the stairs for a long time, so you probably will recognize it as soon as I turn it around. It's a poster of a painting by a woman, a painter who's from Mexico, and her name is Frida Kahlo. I have a picture of someone who lives in Madison who's a politician, and she is my supervisor, my county supervisor in my district, and her name is Tammy Baldwin. And she's famous around the country because she's a lesbian who has decided that she wants to be in politics, and that's what she's going to do. Okay, I want you to listen to some music for a second. Nope. Sing along. Shh, just listen. Everybody know this song? What is it, Tina? Can't remember the name.
You say it. The Circle of Life.
Right. What movie is it from, James? What movie is it from? What? Anybody know who's singing? I said, who's singing? Stacy.
Elton John. I've heard this a billion times.
Did you know that Elton John was a gay man?
No.
Now you know. All right, thanks, David. Does it make you feel differently about listening to Elton John if you know that he's a gay man as opposed to not knowing or just assuming that he was straight?
I don't know.
Tim, what do you think?
No, I still like the music.
Has anybody ever heard of Melissa Etheridge?
Yeah. Yeah. She loves her.
Okay, a lot of people in this room are listening to her music. She's on the front page of Rolling Stone magazine this month because she's so famous and she's made so many recordings, and she was here in Madison last year. And she is a lesbian. And her partner's name is Julie. So this is Bill T. Jones. He was also in Madison last year. He's a very famous dancer. He's an African American man.
Is he gay?
Yes. All the people I'm going to show you in these pictures and talk about right now are gay or lesbian or bi. How many people saw Mrs. Doubtfire? Good. Do you recognize this man from Mrs. Doubtfire?
He's the hairstylist.
He's the one who does the makeup to make Robin Williams into Mrs. Doubtfire. His name is Harvey Fierstein, and he's a famous actor. He's a very good actor, and he's a gay man. What about Married with Children? Does anybody watch that? Okay. Her actor's name is Amanda Beardsley, and what's the name of her character? Let's see. What? Darcy, right? Marcy, right? Yeah. So there are lots of actors and actresses, lots of artists, lots of politicians, lots of musicians, lots of people who do all different things.
Thursday is Gay and Lesbian Pride Day, which I believe is our 4th year at Cambridge Friends School. In our classrooms, from kindergarten through 8th grade, teachers will be talking about gay and lesbian issues. We really believe that there's God in every person, and those people include homosexuals too. We don't like controversy any more than anybody else. I'm a little worried about that, but not too much.
I was interested with my first grader because I asked her a couple days ago what was happening on Thursday, and she said, well, it was Pink Triangle Day. And I said, well, what's that? And she said, it's a holiday. And I said, well, what's it celebrating? And she said, I don't know. And I said, is it celebrating Gay and Lesbian Pride Day? And she said, yes. And I said, well, what's gay and lesbian? What does that mean? And she said, I don't really know. She said, but it's different than what you and Dad do, is what she said.
If you want to make a comment when we're reading the book, just raise your hand so we can get to it, okay? The book is called Asha's Moms, or Mums, really.
Okay, we'll take comments and questions at the end of the story. Here we go. Asha's Moms. My class has been talking all week about the trip we're going to take to the Science Center.
Some of the children, like Terrence and Elsie, have already been there. My teacher, Miss Samuels, gave us a form to take home. Our parents had to fill it out and sign it so that we would have permission to go on the trip. I gave it back to her the next day. Just before break, she asked to see me. She wanted to know which of the names on the form was my mom's.
I said both. It can't be both. You can't have two moms, she said briskly. But I do. My brother and I have two moms, I protested. Corrine and Judy were listening to me.
Take the form back home and have it properly filled out, said Miss Samuels. You can't go on the trip if it isn't. Now, if you were Asha, how do you think you would feel? Why is that, Jamila?
Because they said you didn't have two moms.
Because the teacher said you couldn't have two moms?
Isaac? Well, her teacher probably wasn't didn't know, and she wasn't very open-minded or something. Maybe her teacher knew about having two moms and being lesbian, but she didn't like people like that. So.
Can you describe a little bit more what you meant by open-minded?
Well, if you're not very open-minded, it's let's say there's a new kind of vegetable or something, and if you're not very open-minded, then you won't try it, because you're not you don't like to try new things and stuff. And if you are open-minded, then you would like to try it. And then if she wasn't very open-minded, then she wouldn't she'd be prejudiced.
The most challenging part has been, first of all, I'm Latina, specifically I'm Puerto Rican, first generation, so that my culture taught me that to be gay or lesbian was wrong. It was tabooed. And so I brought that with me because I don't stop being Puerto Rican when I enter this building. And here she is with her mom, one of her moms. And so I had to work really hard on that. I think that I'm a better teacher now because I know that in the classroom I have to be here for all of my students. I have to affirm who they are. And for my children who are children of gay or lesbian families, I need to create an environment in which they feel comfortable to come in and talk about, last night we went out for pizza with my two moms. Or my two dads and I, we went out swimming. I need, because I know what it's like not to be affirmed in a classroom, because I was not as a child. You can't have two mommies, Judy insisted. Yes, she can, Rita said, turning around in her seat. Just like you have two aunts and two daddies and two grandmas, yelled Diane from across the room. Diane likes to yell.
So what happened here? When Rita turned around and said, yes, she can. What happened? Yeah.
Her friend stood up for her.
Her friend stood up for her. Jack?
Well, I know two men who are gay.
Mm-hmm.
Who are gay.
And they're friends of yours?
Mm-hmm. But one of them used to, he lives far away from here.
You know, today might be a real nice day to send him a little note and talk about what we did at school, and then we can ask your parents to mail it for you.
I have a question.
Is that a good idea?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I think I know somebody, one of my stepfather's friends who I think is gay. I'm not sure, because they both live in the same house in the same area and they sleep together.
Uh-huh. Chances are. But do people sometimes share houses?
Yeah.
Even if they're not gay or lesbian? Yeah. So you need to talk to your family about that, maybe, because I'm not going to make any guesses. Daniela?
Do you believe I have two moms? What did she say?
Say that again. So
Do you believe I have two moms?
do I believe you have two moms? Yes, I do. But you're very happy to have your moms here today. Yeah, I can tell.
Think about if you personally yourself have ever heard anybody using a word that would make a gay person feel bad, or that you think would be really hurtful to a gay person. And think about how it made you feel. Benji, do you want to say anything about that?
Well, once when I was in the store, there's these little action figure wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether this would be hurtful to a gay person, but one of a kid looking at it said one of them was gay. But I don't know why he said that.
How did you feel when he said that?
I don't know, because I don't really know whether it'd be hurtful to a gay person.
Okay, let's say that's an interesting one. We'll think about that. Anna?
My brother's friend, I don't think he knew what it meant, but he just said,
to my brother, "You're a faggot." And I didn't really know what it meant because I was young. But then my brother told me, and I felt really bad for the people that I knew that were gay, because there was somebody just two people that lived down the road that were lesbians.
And Nina, are you remembering a time or?
Well, I have a question for Anna. I don't know what it means. Do you?
Well, it's just a mean way of saying, like, saying to somebody, saying to a black person, saying that you're a nigger or whatever. It's sort of like that, but a little bit different because it's, you know,
for gay people.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of experiences at this school. A lot, like fag and faggot have been used.
At this school?
Yeah, it's amazing how teachers, no offense, but it's amazing how teachers don't notice all the stuff that's going on, and even like they don't necessarily use the word fag, but they say, "Oh, what are you, gay or something like that," and it's really, it makes you feel like weird in your stomach.
I think this looks like you, Margaret.
I already said that!
Yeah.
Look at me!
I don't think that it's appropriate that values only be taught at home. There are social values as well. There are community values. And when you allow a child on a playground to hurl an insult at another child, or to say your mom is queer, or to say those sorts of things without addressing the issues is, I think, unconscionable. And what's the message the child gets? The child gets the message, my teachers would step in if it was wrong. My teachers would they know, my teachers would do something. And what do you do with the child who declares later that they're gay or lesbian? They've sat through this whole educational experience where teachers have let this stuff go by to think, oh, I can't ever let that teacher know, because if that teacher knew, she or he would think less of me. Because when Johnny Brewster said these things in 4th grade, it was okay. That's not okay. But I think we allow the other assumptions about gay and lesbian people to go all the time because we're uncomfortable with it. Kids know.
I want to start with you talking a little bit about what you're going to do tomorrow at Gay and Lesbian Pride Day, and to raise any issues that might have come up in the classroom.
I don't know. I guess for me, and I'm not trying to be decisive, and I don't know what to do about this, but as a school, are we saying that the kids have to support this? I mean, I guess that's what it sounds like to me, that we're saying if a child comes from a background that says that homosexuality is not correct, are we telling that child that they're supposed to, this is what you're supposed to do? I guess I keep getting that feeling that if a person is coming from that background, that we're supposed to tell them this is right, and I just feel like that child is going to.
I don't think we're saying that at all. But I think what we're saying is to respect other people's differences.
I totally hear what you're saying.
It's hard.
But I want to make sure that it's there, that if they don't agree, that they too can be respected for that also. That's what I'm trying to say. I want to make sure that it's understood that if you choose not to, that's fine. I still want your respect as well. That's what I'm saying. That's a choice.
Not to what?
Not to agree with you.
Agree about what?
That homosexuality is right.
A little child in our class the other day said that when her grandmother came to visit, that the parents were explaining to the grandmother about what we were doing here at the school, and the grandmother was very upset and said, "This is wrong. This is wrong. The school should not do this. Kids should not know about these things. This is just wrong." I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember being caught in that bind of wanting her to maintain her thing for her grandmother. I'm not going to come between her and her grandmother. So I don't know. I think that's true and real and hard.
I don't know if this works for you, but I think that we are asking kids to believe that this is right. Not as a matter of moral principle, but as a matter of, we're educating them, and this is part of what we consider to be a healthy education.
And I want to go back to the thing that Art said, which is that what we're trying to have people do is to understand that people are, and that we have to respect the right of all of us to just be, and be who we are. And we do that in the classroom when we teach so that everyone can learn. There isn't a right way, there isn't a wrong way, there isn't a good way, there isn't a bad way. The way that it is what it is. And it never is clean and neat and tidy and without some kind of conflict, because we don't all live all by ourselves.
Good morning. Oh, that's much better. My name is Jeff, and for those of you who don't know me yet, I teach creative movement to the 1st and 2nd grade, and I was an after-school teacher. And this is a soccer ball. How many of you have ever kicked a soccer ball or played the game of soccer? Come on over on that bench. I bet you guys have. All right, there you go. You guys are included too. Imagine if every time I went to play soccer, I had to hide my right shin. I might hide it like this. And then I'd try to play soccer. It wouldn't be easy, but I could do it. It would take a lot of energy to play soccer and also hide my leg. Well, at CFS, I don't have to hide. So I can play soccer with 2 legs. Can you see how much better I can play? Yep. At CFS, I can tell the truth that I'm a gay man. And that gives me so much more energy to be a better teacher, to be a better co-worker, and to be a better friend. I'll see you on the soccer pitch.
I want to say to you all that today I feel the most proud of the kids in this school. And I just want to say that I know that the kids in this school are going to go out and you're going to make this world a better and a safer place, not just for gay and lesbian people, but for all of us. Thanks, you guys. You're great.
That a lot of teachers came out, because I think it's better to know somebody that's gay, and it makes you look at it in a different way, because now you actually feel like you know what gay is all about, and it isn't actually different than anybody else. It's just different private things.
My first teacher in the school was gay, or a lesbian, and at first I didn't quite know how to react to that. I didn't know whether to think, well, this isn't good, what should I do? I mean, I should be worried. And then as time went on, I started to learn that, it's okay, it's fine. It's not anything different. This teacher acts just the same as every other teacher in the school, except for the one fact that this person is attracted to the same sex as themselves.
So if there's kids in the other schools that are thinking that they are gay and thinking that it's bad, then who knows what they'd like too. They might hurt themselves or whatever.
28% of all gay teenagers drop out of high school, more than twice the national average. They're also more prone to abuse alcohol and drugs.
And 30% of all teen suicides are committed by kids trying to deal with their own homosexuality.
It's alarming. The amount of attempted suicide and suicides in teenagers who are gay and lesbian is astronomical, because they haven't been exposed to this education, but they are gay and lesbian. And this society is saying that's not okay, and that they aren't okay. So what do? They try to kill themselves. We're not taking care of our children in this country. We're telling you have to be a certain way. If you're not okay.
So I wanted to start out by asking you, did you all celebrate Mother's Day yesterday? Who did? Yeah. Let's see a show of hands. Who celebrated Mother's Day? Who was the guest of honor yesterday? Who did you honor for Mother's Day in your particular family? Anyone want to say, Stephen?
Grandma.
Your grandmother and your mother, Miranda?
My grandma and my mom.
Same for you. Hannah, how about in your family?
Nobody special was celebrated. It was just my mom, my sister, my stepsister, my stepdad, and me.
Amy?
I celebrated it with my grandparents and my mom and my dad, my sister.
Okay. So everybody celebrated it with different people. There's step-parents, grandparents, aunts, brothers, sisters, all different kinds of people. Each family is different, and what do you think, what do all of them have in common? What makes a family if everybody's is a little bit different? Eli?
One mom, a dad, probably one brother and one sister.
So you think that that's pretty much a definition of a family, a mom, a dad, a sister, and a brother. Does anyone else want to add to that or comment on what Eli is saying? Jennifer?
Well, really just more than one person makes a family. It doesn't matter if you have 2 or 3, just more than one person makes a family.
So if Tracy and Jennifer and JD had a play date, are they a family? Since they're more than one person?
You're related. And it's more than one person.
So more than one person related, and it doesn't matter whether it's a mom or a dad or a sister or a brother, as long as it's more than one related. Shantae?
Like when I saw a movie, and it's a true story, a Chinese girl was adopted to a white lady.
So it could be people of different backgrounds, different colors, different religions, races.
I got something to add.
Absolutely, go ahead.
And they had white kids. Like there was 2 big Chinese girls, and there was a white little girl, a white kid, and they was brothers and sisters.
I think it's not what color you are, how many people, whether or not you're blood related. I agree with you. And some of you were wondering, you saw that I had invited Emily in, and you were wondering why she's here. Why don't you come up, Emily? For those of you who don't know her, Emily's next door to us in Rose's class. She's in 3rd grade too. And I asked her to come in today on purpose because yesterday, for Mother's Day, her celebration was probably a little bit different than any of the celebrations that any of us had in this class. Do you know CBK Cookies on Amsterdam Avenue? They sponsored a contest. It was a Mother's Day essay writing contest. And I didn't know about the contest, but when it was over, a couple of people told me, you should read Emily's essay. It was really interesting and really nice. And I thought it would be nice if she came in and read it to you. So here's a copy of it, and in a nice, why don't you move up so they could hear you, and in a nice, really loud voice. This is the essay that was entered for a Mother's Day contest.
My mothers mean so much to me. I have 2 mothers. 2 moms is pretty nice. Well, it's more than pretty nice, it's really nice. You can't imagine. Although having 2 mothers is a problem to others, I respect that that's the way they think, and I can't do anything about it. I still think that those people think stupidly. This once happened with a boy in my class who could not come to my house because my parents were lesbian. One night I called their house and the mother told me their version of the Bible. I stood up for my mothers and knew that many kids of my class were supporting me and calling me to see how I was. I am proud of my moms and enjoy marching in the Gay Pride March every single year with my moms.
So wasn't that a nice essay? Should we give Emily a round of applause? And I thought that before we move on, that you might have a comment or a question that you wanted to ask Emily about her family or about her essay. Daniel?
I think that it was a really nice poem because she stood up for her mother and father, her mothers, and she didn't care what other people thought. And it was like it doesn't matter if you have a mother and a mother, a father and a father, you stood up for them.
Miranda?
I liked your poem also, and the thing also, but did you win the contest?
You did. Congratulations.
And the votes are in, but the controversy continues in Merrimack over homosexuality and the classroom.
Let me assure you that I will teach my children about Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
That's not a family. Show me somewhere in the Bible where it says that. It's not there.
I would not want my child raised with homosexual influences or teaching them that this is a normal lifestyle.
I think that everybody will stand behind the banner of being, no discrimination and promoting tolerance, except that when you come to an issue of gay and lesbianism, I think then people, because of the religious beliefs, sometimes fall from behind that banner, but I have to say to them that if I'm going to protect your religious beliefs, if I'm going to respect them, then I'm asking you to respect the stance we take in teaching about tolerance for others.
When I feel, worried about presenting this to the children, and when I feel worried about repercussions, especially in light of, recent politics and things moving, to the right. In spite of that, I feel very motivated to keep going with this in my classroom because I know how hard it was for me to grow up, and I know that nobody ever gave me any sense that it was okay to be who I was or that there were supports, resources for me, anything. So I know what it's like to grow up in that way, and if I could even reach one child, if I could help one child to grow up feeling that it was okay, remembering my words or the story that I read them, or even knowing that I was gay, if that could help them to, grow up and not feel so isolated and not feel as though their life was just going to be complete hell, then, it's worth it to me. So that idea keeps me going. I have a question for you about Emily's moms. Are they married? Are her two moms a married couple? What do you think about that question? Hannah?
If they want to get married, they can, or they can just live together. Like my old daycare teacher, she lives with a man, and they're not married, but it doesn't really matter. So I think they could get married if they want to.
Okay. Let me tell you quickly the background. Today, the law says that if you're the same sex, 2 men and 2 women, you can't get married. It is against the law. And I thought that it might be kind of fun for us to sort of be pretend judges for a few minutes. What I'm going to give each of you is a sheet that just tells you that some people think that it's wrong for gays to get married, that it's not natural, and that it goes against what a family is. Other people think that the state should not decide these things, that it should just be up to 2 adults to decide what they want to do. What do you think the answer to these questions are? Should gays be allowed to marry? Should they not? What I want you to do is have a discussion, and of course, when you have a discussion, not everybody agrees, but everybody does listen to one another and try to understand each other's positions.
I don't see why they shouldn't. I don't see why they shouldn't get married. I know, they love each other. It's just like any other people.
They just can't get married like that. I mean, one might have a disease and they want to get married and they won't even know about it. And then maybe the other person might catch it and then they won't be able to get married.
Yeah, but a man and a woman could have a disease also like that.
I think they're gay, I mean, one may have a disease.
I think gay people should get married. Guys, they love someone, let them get married. I know. Let's say if Andres wanted to get married to Eric. I'm just doing this, but I am the judge and I'm saying, no, you two can't get married. I don't care if you love them. You can't get married. How do you think you guys would feel? Mad? Yeah, exactly. So you think that they can't get married? I don't know. I don't get it. Neither do I. It's like, who cares if we were gay? Do you care? No. So, It's like, duh, you're gay. Like, now the majority is not gay or lesbian couples. I think they should think about what if the majority was gay or lesbian couples and there was a law that said you had to be gay or lesbian and you couldn't get married to the opposite sex. I think they should think about that and see how they would feel, and then they might know how the gays and lesbians feel, and then I think that they should really think about that.
They don't want other people to be gay. It's like they want to be the bosses of other people.
It's just like having prejudice against blacks or Jews or anything else.
You have to come to the realization that it's in our society, it's a reality, it's what's going on. The person in the next cubicle over from you could be gay or lesbian, and you have to work with that person. You know, you don't have to believe in what they do or what they say, but you have to get the awareness needs to be there for children.
That's one of the reasons why it's important for me to do this, is because I know how it feels to be discriminated against, to be called quote unquote different. I know this tape would probably help a lot of schools, get this into their curriculum and stuff, and any other issue that they're afraid to say or don't think would work too good, but there's nothing too, small that it doesn't deserve its own fair shot.
In my position here, I would like to give the boys and girls here as many experiences. We go on field trips. We read a variety of pieces of literature. And if they're going to be the leaders of tomorrow, and we don't provide them with these experiences, then we will not be improving our civilization.
And what we give them and how they're living. Living many generations, fears pass through youth, but then you must sit back and watch them do what they do. Because every time they were taught a lesson, they took it in and in their hearts they caressed them. So trust them, don't rush them. They're a mirror image of you and what you are, and the ancestors trace way back far in history, but they've developed their own frame of mind. So check this rhyme and think about it one time. You've done a good job and it shows that you worked hard. Now they're growing strong, you can put down your guard. You gave them life, but the children are not really yours, so your essence is due from their very pores of past and of present. What you know how it be, together y'all can progress from here till
your
eternity.
Children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life, longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts. They have their own thoughts. They have their own thoughts. You can house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in a place of tomorrow, which you cannot visit. You cannot visit. You cannot visit. Not even in your dreams. Your children belong to the future. Your children belong to the future. Your children, oh, your children belong to the future. Your children, they belong to the future. Your children. Your children, oh, your children, they belong to the future. Your children, come on, clap your hands, everybody. Belong to the future. Don't you know that children belong to the future? Your children.